Welcome to the scene, it's your host TTP. We're flying high in the crypto sky, it's you and me. From Bitcoin rush to Ethereum, we traded all the coins with the trading parody, making that joyful noise. We got bots, we got plots, charts on the big screen. 3 comments to wait, Hunter with a trading machine. Laughing all the way to the bank, it's a fun parade. With every trade we made, watch how we get paid. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game, with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light, trying to trading parallel. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts, the RSI, liquidity at a glance, trends on the rise. We never leave it up to chance. All trading Ganium, tools of the champion breed. With AI and math, we're planting the money seed. Laugh with us, trade with us, ain't no looking back. You're with the parrot now, leading the pack. Alpha profits, snap plus with the crypto law. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the trading parallel. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts.
Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. I'm extremely excited because today I have a very special guest. This is probably my most special guest ever because Arnaud, I met him 4 years ago when I just started the channel. And he is my longest member in the community. And he made a journey from zero to hero that is actually the most extreme that I have seen, not just in terms of what he learned, but what he achieved by himself. So he took the first steps in the community and he's still in my membership. He joined in 2020 and he's still a member of the Trading Parrot. We continue to have one call a month. And I'm very excited to welcome Arnaud. How are you today?
Hi, Marian. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very excited to have you today. It took me a while to get you to convince you to join a live stream and to share your experience, because I think this is something that we should be sharing with a lot of people, not just because people should join or anything. At the moment, all the content is actually public. Whatever I do is on YouTube. But what was the time you joined? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was I think in June 2020.
In June 2020. So that was possibly after the first drop of Bitcoin around, in 2020. Or was it in 2021?
Maybe 2021. I'm sorry.
I think it was 2021 because my community started in early or maybe late 2020. And that's when I started the Patreon. And many people joined on the first 3 months. That was explosive. And then when we had the first correction in 2021, possibly you joined at that point.
Yeah.
And what was the first circumstances? How was the scenario when you joined? Were you trading with bots? Was it manual trading?
Yeah, I had crypto investments at the time, and I realized that something else existed.
Mm-hmm.
And I explored a lot YouTube and everything. And you're the most reliable person and trustable person I found. Not only because of your knowledge at the time, but the way you were behaving and your values and everything. And that's eventually convinced me to join you in the first place.
I remember that. Oh, thanks for the kind words. But at that point, I was doing, I think, 100% trading bots. I was just starting to use TA to determine when to start the bots, when to stop the bots. But most of my trading was completely automated. Did you happen to copy some bots in the first drop of the price around May, or you joined when the price was already lower at around the 30Ks?
I don't remember exactly, but I remember being like the very early of your journey,
Yeah.
and we were experimenting a lot, and even collaborating on the Discord on how to deal with parameters, explore, test,
Hmm.
and it was way before the orchestrator arrived. So
Orchestrator. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was experimental, exciting, and the first step I took was copying your bots.
Hmm. And did you copy them on spot or using leverage?
Spot and eventually using leverage as I learned how to use it the hard way. I learned the hard
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Well, one of the things, the most impressive thing of your achievement is I understand that you use profits to buy a massive, massive investment. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And in fact, once cryptos started to do well,
Yeah.
my first reflex was diversification. Like I understand that could be temporary too,
Hmm.
and that the logic and the strategies we were learning in crypto and doing in crypto were expendable to the rest of the investing world.
Hmm.
So I was doing real estate before, but with my gain in crypto, I used them to do a deposit and bought a castle. That's
So that's the thing. It sounds funny to me because it's incredible. Imagine myself, starting my channel in YouTube, and at some point, I mean, many people in 2021 got wrecked. Okay. I'm not trying to say that everybody that joined follow all the ideas and by the letter. Not even myself. Sometimes I say at 69, I said I'm gonna sell half of my holding in Bitcoin. That's what I did, and I ended up riding the other half of Bitcoin all the way to the bear market. So I didn't do it perfect, and I'm not wanting to claim that. But many people, when I say I'm selling half of my holding because I'm not trusting this move up, they sold everything. They did it right, and then they were coming to me and telling me, dude, you're a lifesaver. I was going to write this thing to 150 and I sold it at 69 when you say that. And then I went straight away to buy a house. And I went to Spain and I met some people. They invited me and for a dinner. And they say, I bought this house thanks to you. And in your case, it's a lot more extreme because not every day someone tells me that they bought a castle with the profits from the boat. It sounds almost like fake, but actually, you send me the key of the castle and pictures, and I'm invited to go to France one day to visit you, right?
anytime you're very welcome, and I have no interest lying on that.
And how are you using the castle? Because now you have I don't know if I can call it a trading community or coaching, and you do events, and you're teaching people now what you learn. And I think one of the best areas where we were collaborating together wasn't necessarily to do with the trading bots anymore. We started talking about TA and about how to trade, how to rotate assets, and eventually we were even talking about soft skills. Like, for
Yeah.
example, you told me that there was a transition in you from being very internal to then running your own business about trading and teaching other people about trading. How was that experience to you?
No, you're totally right, man. Soft skill were the key of the transition because, like doing performance and gain and knowing the technical is important, but to maintain that and roll and keep that over time requires a lot of mindset. And in fact, the big switch for me was like to having the gains, and on top of that doing like mental preparation, coaching, psychology, and doing all this work on myself because I knew that I could be my worst enemy.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, like you mentioned. And after that, I did
Hmm.
all this personal work, and since I was doing well, some people started to ask me for help, or how I could train them, show them things, and eventually I bought a company that were like training traders,
Hmm.
and I bought this company, and now I'm running it. And
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 that's really impressive. I think the biggest reward for me is to feel like I'm just recording and talking to a camera, right? And I want to help people. But to me, the most rewarding thing is then when you meet that people and you know that they are not just an illusion. You're not just talking to a camera. Some people, there's probably less than 1%. They end up learning. They end up applying these things, and they have discipline and they are strict. Uh, what would you say were the key aspects, that make you differentiate from the rest of the group? Because I have so many people in the community and not all of them came back. I could probably do more videos about the people that failed than the people that succeed. You are in that 1% that really, it took everything like a sponge.
well, it's the same as in the investment world and the trading world. Mindset is a big part, and my chance at this time is that I grew up with a very difficult life, and in fact, I realized very early that my limit was not what I could learn, but what I could do in personal development. So, in fact, because I was doing personal development in the same time I was learning crypto investment, trading, and all these things, then I could get the good mindset at the time.
That's really great. That's really, really great.
And
And
now, when I'm teaching people,
mhm,
I'm insisting a lot on this aspect, because technical, I think anybody can learn the technical, but the mindset of the investor, the mindset of a trader, it's not something you can improvise, or um, you need to learn that, and mentoring is a great way to learn it.
and
Mentoring.
what's your way of teaching that? If you can teach me to teach other people better.
In fact, uh, since I almost got all the problems of mindset myself,
Yeah,
I had to work on all of them,
yeah.
and I became good at I don't identifying on people. So
Mm.
when a trader come to me, or when an investor come to me, or an entrepreneur, sometime, because I expand my teachings to entrepreneur too, I spot quite easily their problems.
What are the
And
most common problems?
well, the most common problems is the scale of value. Like people have issues with the value of money.
Hmm.
Like they often correlate how much money they make into trading or investment with the money they make at work.
Hmm.
So it puts them pressure. That the scale of value is a big problem. Another one is the lack of goals, objectives. Like people do something, but they have no idea why they do something. So they just
Mm.
turn on the car and ride it, but they have absolutely no idea where they go. And I tell them, like, if you don't know where you go, there is good chances you never make it. So
Makes sense.
actually, I sometimes people they come to me and tell me like, oh, teach me trading or investment, or teach me real estate investment, crypto investment, whatever. And I tell them that I cannot teach them anything before they have real solid goals that actually like to know what's the best vehicle for them to go there.
Hmm.
And you know what, Mariano? It's very interesting, because many people think trading is a solution when it's sometimes it's not the solution for them.
And so, what's the alternative to?
Well, sometime they already have the net worth that enable them to live with the investment
Mhm.
money they can make, or they don't have the capital, they don't have the mindset to take the risk to do trading, or things like many factors. And in this case, they called me for a trading coaching, and I tell them the best thing for them is not to trade.
So they end up deciding not to trade at the end of the day.
Yeah, and sometimes, in fact, it's my duty as a coach to show them the shortest way to make it to their goal. If
Mhm.
it's trading fine, and I teach them that, and I show them, I help them to find the best trading for them. These are scalping, swing, whatever. The assets, I teach them a lot of things. But if it's investment, if it's work, entrepreneurship, then I just try to point them the right way.
That's pretty cool. And you mentioned different techniques there. I capture scalping, swing trading. Um, Earlier, you were talking about rotation of assets. Can you drive me a little bit into what are your favorite techniques, the ones that you prefer for yourself, first of all, for your own persona, right?
Okay.
Let's separate what you preach to the rest of the people, and then if you can emphasize as well the asset classes that now you are moving around. What are your colors of your palette at the moment?
Okay. But yeah, just to finish what I said,
Yeah.
I always point to the people to think and try to be aware of what their real life goal. Like, because often a financial goal needs to be linked to real life goal to be achieved.
Can you give me an example of that?
If you want to be a millionaire, and you have no idea what, because you don't realize what be a millionaire is, you just say, I want to be a millionaire. And because you don't know precisely what you will do with this money, then there is good chances that you never make it.
I understand.
So I really think it's what I teach is that, like, goals and fixing precise, relevant goals related to your personal goals are to me, are a key factor of the success.
Hmm.
And about about my investments,
Uh-huh.
um, I changed a lot during my I say career during my career.
Hmm.
Uh, right now, um, I'm a lot into diversifying assets. So exposing your money to main classes of assets that follow different cycles, and then when you expose yourself to different cycles, then you know how they work very well, like the cycles and the different kind of assets are correlated with each other. Then you pick the best moment to do arbitrage and to profit the most at different moment of the cycle. And that's my philosophy of investment. And when I zoom in into an asset class, either in crypto or stocks or gold or bonds
Hmm.
or precious metals or anything, um, it's often end up to be swing trading, and and sometime, and according to the market condition and to my knowledge, I optimize this swing trading with bots.
With bots.
Yes.
So you still keep that side thing, that new tool set that you started in 2021 with the trading bots.
Yes, and you taught me everything on that. Like, yeah, like, everything I know about bots is from you.
Wow, thank you so much. Um, so could you run us through some recent moves you have done or things that you're looking into the charts? I remember in our last call, you were talking about something about gold, and also we were talking about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. I would like to hear. No, now it's my chance to ask you things, because in the calls it's usually the other way around. You ask me everything.
Um, yeah, sure. In fact, Mariano, what I believe is that we can, in trading or investment, we can go very, very far in the knowledge and in the technicals.
Hmm.
But to me, the beauty in trading and in anything in life is to master simple things. And sometimes mastering simple things, it's enough to do great. And so when I do trading, of course I've been to over complexifying a lot of concepts and push them the very far, and to understand them perfectly and create indicators and everything like you taught me. But eventually I'm using very basic things like RSI, technical analysis on RSI, like you do, the cycles, the trends, and that's I'm using to
Sentiment,
and what
and the sentiment as well sometimes.
yeah, yeah, experience is something it comes with time. Like, you can't just compress it. You need to learn. And so eventually I knew that the gold was low 2 years ago, and I recommend all my subscribers like to bait and everything. And now if we take the example of gold, and now I know it's super high and our size is high and we are at the top of the cycle, and I just sold it. So and
That's
I'm
very
even short.
simple actually.
Yeah, and I'm even shorting it. And what can I tell? I can, yeah. For example, I can maybe give you an example which is very nice.
Hmm.
Is that how you can uh, um, use together the real world assets, the solid assets, and the paper assets. Like if we talk about gold,
Hmm.
I have physical gold in a certain proportion in my assets. But when we arrive to a top like this, what you can do, if you want to de-expose yourself to gold, I sold all the paper part I had. But when that's gone, then there is two way to de-expose you. You either sell your physical or you short the paper gold. And I started to short the paper gold, the ETFs.
Hmm.
And so I think we are at the top. We'll know. We'll see. Either way, if it's not a top, I'm super happy with my gains, and that's the most important as an investor. And then you wait better condition to re-enter or close your short position or things like that.
Well, I have some thoughts about gold, but in this interview, I want to know and see in particular if you have any charts that you can share. Um, let me change the screen.
Sure. Uh,
Yeah,
on gold.
we can have a look at gold. Um,
Okay.
I was also wondering what your thoughts are on MicroStrategy now that, well, I mean, in our last call, we were talking. I was telling you that I was thinking that MicroStrategy is breaking on the monthly,
Mhm.
and I have a preferred reentry area that I have determined. So I would like to hear your opinion as well on that. But
Oh, sure.
and let me say something, guys, in the comments, if you want us to look into an asset, and it doesn't necessarily need to be crypto. So we can look into big assets with large market caps, and I'm sure that one of us is going to be able um, to share opinions, and I can also have a look in the charts, and then we can talk about it.
We about crypto. We had this discussion together last time that many cryptos were in the golden pocket in the weekly chart.
Hmm.
And I took the decision to reload some ads at this point, because golden pocket uh, to me is like a proven mechanism.
Hmm.
And then we had this discussion whether it's relevant or not. And of course, it can have we can have a debate, but to me, as an investor, on the long run, if you use proven strategies and reload at levels that usually pays off, uh, you have no regrets, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna share gold as well. Unless you want to show something else about gold in this chart.
No, I just want to show very, very simple things. And,
Mm-hmm.
you see on my chart, I made it super simple in case of I had to show it. I just wanted to show that only just with the moving average, simple basic moving average, and the trend, super trend,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know pretty much at what part of the cycle you are. Okay, if
Yeah.
you're on the upside or in the downside,
Mm-hmm.
and whether if you did a long way up or not. And of course, we can go very far in technical analysis, but what I really like to transmit to people is that even simple stuff can lead to great decisions. And if you have an asset like gold like this, and you made enough, you found a great entry point and you made enough money, then it's totally fine to exit, to take a profit.
Yep. Yep.
It's basic stuff, huh? But
I actually, when you say simple stuff, those are the kind of the yeah, those are the main topics that we talk about when we join calls, and we talk about also simple stuff. But sometimes we talk about divergences, we talk about breakouts, we talk about the trend lines on the other side. And as I've been, changing the way I use the RSI, eventually
mhm.
people tell me, well, this is RSI, but this is not the same RSI I know. This is not the way I use it or the way that X amount of people use it. And just to give you an example in here, let me expand this a little bit more. So on gold, we had a breakout from this symmetrical triangle. I was
Yeah.
expecting this to come down to here because of the RSI breaking down. But then eventually it formed this double bottom, and we talk about the target of going to 77. So where are we? Okay, we broke down, we went to the target, and then we are going sideways on the momentum in here. Why are we getting an all-time high? Well, I also say that the first target is 77, and the second target is to meet with the trend line, which is what I call, you lose the support and then you do a revenge rally and you meet with this point in here. Uh, Earlier, I was talking about meeting in here because that's the direction this was going. That will have been 82. But now, since we're coming back down, retesting and gaining momentum again into 77, again, potentially, if we break that as if it was a neckline of a cup and handle. Sorry, my drawings are going to get really ugly in here. But if that breaks out, it can get us into 87 now. When it was 82, it would have been 3.1K. Now it's 86. So I do the reverse RSI in here, and that gives me a higher price of 3.5, almost 3.6. And that is just if we do that revenge touch of this top in there. That shows that there are ways of seeing RSI in a very simple way. You can always say, well, when we get to 82, we are so overextended that I'm just going to sell it. But then the index can carry on. So if you rally all this way in here and you already took profits using the super trend and some very basic things like the moving average, and you decide to either reduce your position or you decide to take all the profits, but you rotate into something else. So what is the problem with the gold now rallying, a couple of hundred more or even 500 more? You're still into something else. So what that teaches me is that lesson number one is the first step as a trader, the psychological part that I take care first is that feeling of missing out. Those feelings of missing out, the feeling of the greed or extreme fear, are all against you. So if you can identify them and put them aside, how you do that? You cannot control yourself. You cannot control your feelings, but what you can control is to tell yourself what is your plan. We were talking about having a plan. So the plan is, you tell yourself, if we get to 2.9, we are too overextended, and I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to take profits there. But the problem is that people fall in love with their winners. They cannot disconnect from that winner in such a way that they cannot take profit. They're in love, and they're hands to hands with gold, and gold continues going higher, and it gives them the false illusion that gold is going to never top. And that's where they get into trouble, because there is no plan. There is someone that is in love with a rally and with an asset, and then the moment it fails, the feeling of disappointment is so big that they end up even taking a worse decision. So that's why you always have to have a plan before. By having a plan, you have a shield against those emotions of, I might rally again, or it rally again, why did I close it? No, you follow your plan. Your plan was to get to 2.9. Be happy. You were right. You rallied the whole thing all the way to overbought, and now it's gone. Now move on to the next task. And by doing things like that, you can keep it simple, and at the same time, you are free of those roller coaster of emotions.
In fact, can I say something?
Yeah, go for it, please.
In fact, Mariano, how I have a lot of students that have these issues, and the way I fix it is to make them aware that there is more opportunities that they can seize. Like
Yeah,
there is too many opportunities in the investment world, and sometimes they don't see them, or they don't believe in them, or they're just focused on crypto, and they think crypto is the best and there is nothing else. But you can trust us. There is more opportunities that you can size with tens of millions of dollars, even if you have them. So I can give you an example with the gold. I know that gold as can be maximum 10% of my net worth, like of my net worth, and that's my like golden rule. So if it goes down, I just buy more, and if it goes up, I just sell to maintain this 10% golden rules in my net worth. But I also know I also use gold as a way to expose myself to commodities. So I know that if I sell my gold, then I'm less exposed to commodities, and so I know that I have other precious metals that I can buy if gold is too high, like in this case. I know silver, for example, always follow gold by several months. So when gold is high, I
I
know
didn't
I
know.
sell my
I don't know what's the gap. What is the gap in time between gold and silver, in your
several,
opinion?
several weeks. It all depends. When you do a chart with, I use a lot relative strengths to
Mm.
compare assets between each other.
Hmm.
And for example, so when I started to sell my gold like this, I slowly bought silver that was following the same path. And right now I'm selling my silver that's going up to, and I'm buying palladium. And if you see, palladium is just like at the start of a cycle, when gold is maybe at the end of a cycle. And that's the way you don't have FOMO, because you remain exposed to a same class of assets. You optimize your investment in this class of asset, respecting the golden rule you have for your net worth. Does that
Cool.
make sense? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's super interesting. And um,
If you
can
see, like for example, right now I can tell you I'm buying palladium. I sold my gold to buy
Hmm.
silver, and now I'm selling my silver to buy palladium.
Palladium. That's the
It's
symbol.
another
What is?
precious. It's a precious metal.
Ah, okay. I got confused with Palantir. that's
Ah, oh
that's a
no.
stock. Could you tell us some stocks that you think that are in the value area, and followed by some crypto that is, in your opinion, in the value area? Because we are in the middle of a sell-off, and of course, I'm going to ask you, they're in the value area. That's pretty much obvious. I will say that all crypto is in the value area at the moment because everything has had a very, very reasonable correction. The question is, it stops here, in your opinion, or you think it's going to start recovering, or there's a little bit more room for downside?
Well, the first, my golden rule in as an investor is to be happy in both if the market go both ways. So I bought some because of the golden pocket theory in many cryptos. You talk about stocks. I bought Marathon stock recently because it wasn't a big support.
Hmm.
It's a mining stock company, and in fact, I always keep cash to buy if it goes lower. But to me, the golden pocket is an acceptable place to re-enter the market.
Yeah. The golden
Uh,
pocket when you get the correction.
yes, and
And are
if it's not, it's okay. I but just buy more or lower. If I trust the asset, I'm always ready to buy it if I'm happy with an asset.
mhm. And are there any specific assets that are in that area at the moment, in your opinion?
I tell you, Marathon is the stock I bought, but I'm working a lot on sector rotation,
Hmm.
and I follow sectors like the 11 sectors of the stock market, and I follow and compare them all the time, constantly, every week. I do a ranking and technical analysis on them, and you could see divergences on the tech. I carried tech for a long time, the technology stocks, uh, and uh, and right now, when a sector is strong, the opposite sector of the economy is weak, and
Hmm.
it can create opportunities. Right now, I'm buying a lot of food stocks like Nestle. I did good on Pepsi, things like that. Like if you take, for example, Nestle, I bought it because I identified it at the food and beverage sector being the weakest sector of the economy at this time.
Yeah.
So if you look at sectors like the relation of sectors between each other, when tech is super high, food and health are super low.
Yeah.
And if you take stocks like Nestle or Diageo that sells the Guinness, for example, or
Hmm.
Budweiser, things like that, they are very high weekly below 30, worse than during the COVID.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's not because it's a crisis, it's because the investors' money right now was
Yeah.
into the tech.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's all those fears, and they're trying to look somewhere else where they can park the money.
Yeah, we call some sectors like food, cyclical consumptions, and health as defensive sectors.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it's our duty as investor to invest in sectors that are weak to get the better return.
Yeah.
When you can buy the world leader of this sector, like food sector or drink sector or whatever, toothpaste sector, at the lowest RSI in history, like should you buy it?
No. Well, it depends if it's in a value area. Oh, you mean at the lowest? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. You see what I mean? And about crypto, uh, we had this discussion, and you taught me a lot of things about crypto. But one thing you told me is that they don't have great expectation. Whales, they they don't do 10x when they invest on something, right?
Hmm.
They tend to take profit very consistently and not being too greedy. So I have this strategy in crypto. Like when I enter some alt, I do times two, times three, 3x, 5x, but I always try to sell them on the way up
But how do you decide where to take profits?
all the time. If it goes up, I take profit slowly,
But
like a bot.
let's put an example. Let's say you have a holding. Uh, let's say with this sell off of 1 month, uh, you pick two or three coins, and let's say you have $1,000 to invest. Then what would be your train of thoughts? You will look first of fundamentals, or would you look just into how oversold it is, and then how long and how fast would you be selling on the way up?
I would act like a bot would do, and often I have a bot doing it for me. So you remember when this you have this short bot crypto that we were running at the time?
Hmm.
They were you are buying $1,000 in crypto, and they were selling them progressively on the way up. That became my philosophy in investment.
Is it like a martingale kind of bot?
Yeah, you remember we had this short bot
Yeah,
that were running on the way down,
yeah.
but we were using to sell progressively an asset on the way
Oh,
up.
I see. With safety orders to the upside.
Yes. And that's actually that when we discussed about it and you taught me that, it became my strategy in general for investment. If I,
Mm.
if I focus on buying well, then any moment is a good moment to sell.
All right. So basically, that keeps automatically your portfolio balanced, because basically it starts going too high and it will start selling. But then
Correct.
if it's a martingale bot, if it goes very high and then it comes down, does your bot rebuy on the way down?
No.
It's just to sell,
In
just to
fact,
get.
you know what? When I so often when I buy a crypto, uh, let's say I don't use bots or an asset, I buy something and I put like 3 or 4 TP take profits at level that I'm super happy to make money, and I'm very confident with that and not being greedy because I know I can rinse and repeat that
Mhm.
at the infinite.
So that's something that you're confident doing in a broker when you're talking about stocks. But when it comes to your crypto, then
I
you have
use
to leave it in
Dex.
the exchange.
I don't like exchange a lot. I'm using Dex
Oh,
like
so you're selling using a DEX.
Jupiter, for example, for Solana chain,
Mm-hmm.
or I just having I don't I don't show you, but I have papers with level. I call them like mental stop loss or mental take profits,
Mm-hmm.
and I have this level. And what pushed me to respect my strategies is
Yep.
that I know I can repeat it. Okay,
Yep.
if you buy a coin at the golden pocket and rebuy it if it goes lower, then there is an infinite number of coin or stocks or assets or commodities, whatever you can do it and to repeat that to make money over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
much the focus to me is to put on find the best entry points because it's always easier to manage a position which is in the green.
yep. So that's very similar to what I'm currently doing. And I mean, I think the best advice I can give is to have. It sounds stupid. I mean, some people are gonna think, why am I watching this to listen to this? This is obvious. Yeah, but it's not obvious to everybody. That's the problem. People are really confused when to enter, when to exit. And something that people cannot stand sometimes is that I spend many days not doing anything, and they're thinking, why am I watching the video? He's not doing anything, right? He's still talking about an entry that he entered a few days ago or 2 weeks ago, and he's still with a position. And that's because you have a plan, and the plan could play out in 2 days, or it could play out in 2 weeks or in 2 months. And while I'm publishing that I'm doing that, I'm doing other things. But that's the thing that goes in YouTube, and I share it. It's Bitcoin. It's big market cap, and I don't mind, 300 people copying in some way what I'm doing. If I go with low cap, well, it can be a bit more complicated to say, well, this is going to be my entry point. Um, but having that plan, waiting for the entry is frustrating. Waiting for the exit is also frustrating. But if you wait enough for that entry, your exit becomes a lot more smooth. Like, for example, now I waited how many days for 77.5? It went to 76. Okay, fair enough, right? But then it rallied to 84. So far, let me check. It's still in the green? Yeah, barely in the green, right? It's very, but it's spent a few days. Most of the time, it's been in the green, and it reached 84. It was well in the green. Took some profits. I scalp because I sold a bit. I shared that on my Patreon. I shared it too late, by the way. I didn't want people to copy those bad things. Sometimes I just take a bit here if I have time, and then I re-enter. If I have strong confidence, it's gonna come back. And then it did. It went back down. I rebought, and I ride it. And it's boring as hell. That's why I do sometimes these things that you shouldn't do. It's boring as hell to wait for that entry, to think maybe it's not gonna go there, to get tempted with just enter now, whatever, and then it goes to the entry. As soon as you enter too early and you didn't respect the plan, then it goes to your level. And then when you enter to your level, the reward for having wait enough for that is that then the ride becomes a lot smoother. You spend a lot more time in the green, and then eventually, if your plan plays out, then you can cash out a lot more, a lot more than the rest of the people. The people literally are entering at any point, just driven by emotions.
Yeah, and it would bring us back to the point I mentioned earlier. Like, what is the reason why you do trading? If it's for excitement, adrenaline, or whatever, then you're in trouble. If it's to make money, then find a plan that makes you money and repeat it, repeat, and the what you taught me, what like one of the biggest things you taught me in that gave me so much help is like, if you want to make money, do like the whales. The whales, they do, and they make money. They don't invest billions for fun. They invest billions to make money. And if you want to play against them, uh, then of course you go to a roller coaster, but it comes with downside too. And if you do like the whales, it's boring, but you make money. So why are you in the market?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I try to do. And I think the best way to mimic them is to go after they leave traces in the path. They leave some
Yes.
marks that they cannot hide. They cannot hide the volume. They cannot hide that they have appetite for liquidity pools. They cannot hide a bunch of things. They cannot hide their own momentum. Because when you think about a whale in the sea swimming. Do you see a whale that can swim without creating waves around it? It's impossible. So if you need to get good at seeing those waves, and those waves are those things. And what is attracting the whales is this, what is it called, the thing that these whales eat? Plankton, whatever it is, whatever. But those things can also be scanned with sonar. With a sonar, the scientists, they find where is the food and blah 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 blah. And I became good at that, and that is just additional to the RSI. The RSI, I introduced it in my channel because I noticed that I was using too complicated indicators. The core of my trading was based on very complicated things. And one day I thought, I'm going to make the start of the show either the RSI or the MACD, and I'm going to choose between one. And I wasn't necessarily an expert on RSI. I just thought I need to simplify this thing because people are not being able to follow me. And if I want to become a great teacher on this, they need to get a grasp of something that is familiar. And that had two effects. The first effect is saying, you're trading with RSI, you are an ignorant. RSI doesn't work. Everybody knows that RSI is useless. They will have said the same about MACD, whatever. It's just a momentum indicator. But I think if you pay enough attention to the details of the RSI, you start seeing it with other eyes. And of course, it became a little bit more complicated than saying below 30 and above 70. I admit that. But just seeing that single stupid line going up and down, I'm pretty sure that if I have to use just a single indicator and start profitable, I will be able to make money just from that. Now, if you put on top of all of this and you just use the RSI as a sniper tool for the last bullet, just at the last minute, but before you get into the prey and you find the prey, for the prey, I use sonars, I use a satellite, and all those things are the subscriptions to websites that give me the data to chase the prey. But once the prey is there, I kill it with RSI. The RSI is still the thing that tells me he's gonna jump that way in a minute because he's compressing the muscles. And then I say, okay, now. And that's the sniper tool. But I admit, I use other things to understand what's going on. And I think we are much better placed using this data than the people that are looking, for example, at the moment. I guarantee you that there's too many people looking at the news and looking at scary things in the news and all those things to make their decisions. And that is just a disaster. And every time there is one of these news, if you want to have a good takeaway from this video, guys, is watch the news and watch the how wide is the agreement of everybody uh, based on what the news wants to create. So if the news wants to create fear, if in between lines there is an intention to produce fear, then see the reaction. If the fear is spread across all corners, you take a step back and you say, I am not part of this crap. I need to look for an escape route, right? Before I get swallowed by a whale. You are being the plankton and they're telling you be scared, and you're plankton and you're running in the same direction, and probably you're going straight into the mouth of the whale. So when that happens, you need to see yourself from a magnifier glass from the top and look for an escape route. And that's why it's so funny, but every time probably you see all YouTube channels saying we're going down, I say we're going up. And I do that intentionally because I see that everybody's saying the same thing. Very basic things, guys. It's not much. It doesn't need more complicated than this, really.
The facts first. The facts.
Yep. Yep.
You know what,
Mhm.
Mariano? That's for the. I totally on the same page as you. Uh, Mastering, as I told you, mastering simple things is enough. Is simple is perfect. I say sometimes. A divergence on the RSI, on a big stock, on a big crypto, on a big ETF, whatever, on a big time frame requires so much volume that it can only be a whale signature, and that makes it no brainers. Like even if you enter like weekly divergences on big stocks or big cryptos, it's just like it's almost a no brainer.
Mhm. Yep. I agree.
And
And
then
Mhm.
yeah, and then like securing position, like securing position with stop loss, trading stop losses once you're in the green, and rinse and repeat. That would be my best advice to anybody.
That's a great advice. And we missed. I think I missed your answer from whichever you prefer to answer. What are your favorite top 5 coins at the moment on crypto? or which ones you think that now are in a value area?
Hmm. I don't. I don't do fundamentals on cryptos uh, because I'm not. Why I'm not there for the long run. I see this question in the chat. Like I'm not in crypto for the long run. Like the first leg I took, the first leg of the I said the first leg. I hope there is second ones. I'm calling the first leg like the I we had recently. I took them and I did like times 2 and times 3 on LTC, for example, ETH and BTC too. I took my profit progressively, and I reloaded them in the golden pocket. So right now I
Golden
have
pocket of the weekly, or
weekly.
you're
Weekly. I'm sorry. Yeah. I for yeah.
yeah.
Weekly. So right now I'm buying just the top 5. I'm not being very creative. I have a couple more crypto,
So you say
but
you re-enter,
yes,
and you re-enter with the same volume, or are you incremental reducing your sizes at this time of the cycle?
using the position I was initially in the first cycle. So I'm not reinvesting my profits. My profits, they are spread to all my
Something else.
assets. Correct. Yeah. Because I reached the limit of the cryptos, I allowed myself in my net worth, and that's my golden rule, and I never break this golden rule.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
so I bought the top 5 or top 10, and I have other cryptos too, but it's like kind of private equity project I invested in. So I own them, but it's I won't mention them. They are like in the 800 ranking or something. But I know it's because crypto. I know the owners myself. I know the owners. I know what company project they have behind that,
Mhm.
and I decided to invest as more as a private equity. And the part of this private equity investment was tokens, giving tokens.
Given tokens.
So that's other cryptos I have that are more like I don't know how you call them. I, actually, in small progress, I was a whale because I was an early investor of some
That's
projects.
It's pretty cool to be able to enter so early. And I'm reading between lines that you're saying that you re-enter. Since
Yes.
you re-enter, does that mean that you're expecting a higher high in 2025 for Bitcoin and overall in crypto, a comeback of the old coins, or you have a possibly maybe, or is it like I'm just gonna try to trade a dead cat bounce because this is it, this was the top?
Oh no, I'm expecting higher. My analysis is I see that as a first leg. What
So
you think I'm
is it?
wrong?
Mhm.
I was seeing that as a first leg. I respected my role since I entered super low, and I followed my exit rules. Now I have cash to allocate to crypto. So I have cash to allocate to crypto. Where do I put it? Do I put it in? Uh, and my rule is like I took crypto that corrected to the golden pocket at least or lower, and this is where I re-entered. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I buy more lower. That
Lower.
makes sense?
Yeah. But do you have a rule if we enter in bear market, no crypto, or you're gonna remain invested during bear market?
Yeah. For the portion I have, I'm already like 90% invested of my crypto. The crypto I allocate to the money
Mhm.
I allocate to crypto. I'm 90% invested and 10% in cash right now, or 80-20 more.
But if you enter in a bear market and you agree we are going to a bear market, let's say we are at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, and the cryptos are still pumping, you don't have a rule to get out of crypto for 3 years or 2 years or something until crypto
Yes,
comes back?
yes,
Ah, okay,
yes.
that's what I was. Yeah.
Yes, you know the cycles I'm following. If I guess or if I think we enter a massive distribution period, then I'm exiting because I know there is a crash after that.
Mhm.
So I have like my first warning is like a big distribution, like, not like a pump like we had. I'm talking about like a big distribution, like nice, like distribution chart. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where when whale need to exit big volumes, then I start to commit not to go back in the market. I'm waiting for this distribution period and a crash and a start of an accumulation period again, and then I
Mhm.
re-enter
And one last question.
because I have more opportunities that I can size anywhere. So I'm not only into crypto. If my money is not in crypto, it's somewhere else. And if I have to pay taxes to move this money, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. One last question, Arnaud, before I let you go, is what makes you think that 110 or 109, the recent all-time high, is not the all-time high? Sorry, what makes you think, what made you think that 109 was distributed? Let me change the question because I think we had a call and you made a few very good points, and I want to rescue that. What made you think that we were potentially in a distributive area when we reach 109? Because I remember we were seeing some things in the chart. Eh,
Okay. Okay, I don't remember some like what bearish divergences or like what
They're
do you
rolling
mean?
over. Yeah. So I remember in December we have the pump that when we exit from the previous um, megaphone pattern, right? And we
Yes.
broke out from 49, we went to 104, 105 first, and then to 109, 110. And we were seeing there some distribution from Wales, and we were talking about in the call. And I remember you were like, I'm not sure about this moving here. And I was just curious because I think you gave me a little bit more of ideas. I like this comment. Thank you, Castle Lord. Are you in the castle now?
Yeah, sure, sure.
You are in the castle. Well,
Yeah,
I wanted. Mhm.
yeah, you know what? I was. It was not my destiny to end up like this. I come from very far in my personal journey, so it was of my dream, and I achieved it. And you can trust me. I appreciate and embrace every second, every little thing of it, like
I,
every
I
day.
find it so cool, particularly when you that day that you told me that you started organizing meetups, like a whole weekend with investors. And the thing that made me super jealous is that because I'm
No,
not good for organizing these things, but you told me that you were inviting these people. They were joining, super happy to pay, the cost of all this, and you did some catering, you prepare food, and you have what is it called, these mushrooms from your own organic area, and wine and olive oil and all these things with truffle and blah blah blah. And I say, you organize all these things and you still manage to have a presentation, and the people are staying in the actual castle. And how can people learn about uh, how to do this experience of a weekend of learning trading in France?
I call it the next I do. I call it like a 3 day path to financial freedom, a three
Hmm.
day journey. So basically, for 3 days, I organize a boot camp or something very intense
Hmm.
where I help people to make a plan for their financial freedom. So, like the first day, we do a statement of what they have, what their goal, what do they have, and everything. The second day, we do the goal, like fixing goals and try to find the best goal and strategies to reach these goals. And the third day, we do. I teach them the skills to make it, to reach it. So And on top of that, yeah, we do like meditation. I do cold bath too. I put people in cold bath, with ice and everything.
That's pretty cool. I will never come up with something like this.
And we go to there is a Michelin star 1-star restaurant like 5 minutes away.
Uh-huh.
So I take them one night there, and I don't charge much money for that, because my goal of doing that is to just share the information and give people what I didn't have the chance to get when it was my turn.
That's beautiful. And I'm gonna ask you after we finish the stream if you can send me
Sure,
some contact or something that I can put in the description of the video because I forgot to ask you. And it's been
sure.
really great. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Write down a comment. We need to encourage Arnaud to have his own YouTube channel. That's kind of my last goal. That's the cherry on the cake after all these years that we've been once a month having these calls, and I really want him to have a channel in French. And I'm sure that many people that watch this channel can understand French and can later encourage him to have his own channel. And I'm not going to understand anything in French, but I will be extremely proud of knowing that one of the people that joined my channel in the very early beginning ended up teaching more people. So that's a scale of two, of how it's spreading the love for trading and for knowledge
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
your fault, Mariano. It's your
It's
fault.
my fault.
Yeah, and I'm great. I'm super grateful for that, for everything you gave me with no and your intention, and how involved you were from A to Z. Thank you very much.
No worries. And don't make me cry in a live stream. So thank you so much, everybody,
Thank you.
for joining. And thanks, Arnaud. And I'll see you on the next one. By the way, guys, tomorrow we're going to have video doing TA of all coins. So make sure that you leave a comment down there. And Jose, who is moderating in here, he's gonna take note of the altcoins, and tomorrow he's gonna remind me to do TA of those. So don't forget about writing down in the comments. Thank